Tuesday, September 5th. Let's stick with what I consider as the most important issue out here right now, our foreign affairs, of course, North Korea. And let's talk a little bit more, and I'm going to give a little bit more color on where I think it's going. And I think the first thing we have to look at is remember my view on the future. That which is obvious is obviously wrong. I took that from somebody. But you don't really know the future. But when everybody seems to think that something is going to happen, it doesn't happen. And let's talk about what's going on with North Korea. When you watch all the experts, and there are lots of them, been dealing with this country for almost 20 years. When you watch all the experts, they're all saying that, or not they all, lots of them who make the excuses for Kim Jong-un putting out these missiles or firing these missiles is they're paranoid that they're going to lose their grip on power. Now, it is so obviously incorrect. That this saying about what's been happening in the past you can normally call. And in the past, it's just become very obvious. President Clinton didn't try to move him out of his position. President Bush didn't try to move him out of his position. President Obama didn't try to move him out of his position. They all tried to work with him or ignore him. He knows he's not going anywhere. What he wants to do, in my opinion, is he wants to control the Korean Peninsula. And that's one reason that China is not really supporting us. Because China would be much happier if North Korea controlled the peninsula than if South Korea controlled the peninsula. You almost have to look at it as like Sparta and Athens, with South Korea being Athens and North Korea being Sparta. Sparta was basically the athletes, the warriors, and the Athens was more democracy, or the beginnings of democracy, the first shoots. And that's what we have going on here with North Korea and South Korea. And China doesn't, they're worried, oh man, people may come over the border. They are not that worried about that. They could deal with that. It's a gigantic country, plenty of money. They could stop the border if they wanted to. What they don't want, though, is South Korea to control the Korean Peninsula. I mean, look how bummed they get when South Korea brings in their own missile defense. The THAAD, South Korea's brought in two THAAD systems. They want to bring in four more. They should have had all six up. But it allows South Korea to look into the airspace of China. That's why China's not happy about it. But don't sit back there and think, oh, listen to these people go rationalize what's going on. Oh, he's worried about his position. He isn't worried about his position. He wants to control the peninsula. And I'm convinced that he wants a fight. I know people have been telling me I'm wrong. I've been saying for a while he's been spoiling for a fight. We hear Nikki Haley, our UN ambassador, basically say the same thing. Hopefully she was watching us. But that's what's going on here. So don't fall for the jive that North Korea is paranoid and that China really wants to help us. China wants North Korea to win. North Korea wants to win. And North Korea figures the more they push, if they get something going on, maybe China will come in and help them. That's what happened in the Korean War in the 50s. That's what they would hope would happen now. There's a lot of other issues going on which may make it a little bit tougher for China. But the United States, I believe, is doing the right thing here. We're turning up the heat. It's gone nowhere being nice to them. They just keep shooting missiles. It doesn't matter what you say. So you might as well start surrounding them. And you bring in the ships, and you bring in the Air Force, and you bring in the THAAD missile defense, and you give the THAAD missile defense or the Patriot defense, whomever it is, to the Japanese. I'm really worried, though, about giving them both nuclear weapons. I mean, think about this. If suddenly we have a nuclear weapon enhanced Korean Peninsula and then Japan has nuclear weapons, where does this stop? It just starts flowing everywhere. It doesn't cost us that much to try to keep the Pacific working as we work with our allies. I said I kind of found it interesting a while back. I don't think so now. So at the same time, we need to just pump the THAADs out there, get as many missiles, take as much time as it takes to get everybody ready for the defensive and be ready to move. Because Kim Jong-un is going to push it. And he's going to push it to a point that either we're going to have to say, okay, it's yours, or we're coming after you. That's what's going to happen. It's all really a function of horrible foreign policy the last 16, 18 years, but you can't change the past. You can only affect the future. I'm just telling you what I think may happen. I just smell the winds of war. It's just more and more and more and more, and everybody who laughs about it and says it isn't going to happen, I do not think is reading this guy correctly. He has his own rationality. He doesn't want to survive. He wants to rule. He wants to be the man, and he's going to do it his way. So keep a close eye on this. Don't be surprised if hostilities break out. Peace.